Melki, thank you so much for joining Doreen and myself on the Nomadic Diaries, the Belonging Project. And we are really excited to hear your story because you have moved quite frequently intra-country in India, but also beyond, some in South America, and now back in India. And so we're really curious to hear your take on the concept of belonging. I'd love to hear how you would introduce yourself to our listeners.
So, my name is Melki Siddiq, and first of all, I would like to thank you, Megan and Doreen, for having me here and hearing out my stories. So, I would introduce myself as I'm working as a communication coach, and I am also a teacher of English as a second language. I'm also a counselor, and I'm also working as a volunteer trainer for prevention of sexual harassment of women against workplace. This is something I am doing voluntarily.
Mm.
Yes, I moved a lot within my country, and I travel a lot within my country. And um, in my culture, I think you can see in India, the culture is very diverse. But I've also moved to South America, and I lived in one of the countries in South America, in Colombia in particular, for 5 years. And the question that you ask, regarding belonging, I think it's it's a very deep question for me. But also, I believe that I never felt a sense of belonging because for me, it's kind of a paradox. It's a paradox between the need for connection, um, and the need for connection and the longing for individuality. So I feel like it's a push and pull between wanting to be a part of something larger and larger than oneself, and wanting to preserve my unique identity. I don't know how many of you can resonate to that, but when I was traveling, I always had this question in my mind that why I need to belong to one place. And I think people who are, constantly moving can often feel that. Which place do we belong to? So when someone asks me this question that where are you from? I never have answer to that. And I think a lot of people who are cross-cultural kids or third culture kids can relate to that. Those who move between worlds, belonging everywhere and nowhere at once. And it's again a paradox.
Do you think it's also a skill that can be developed over time?
Yeah, I think it's the skill and the flexibility and the adaptability that can be developed over time, because as a cross-cultural kids, or as people who are constantly moving from one culture to another culture, they learn how to navigate, um, and they also learn how to create new set of identities to survive in each cultural context. For example, when I moved to South America, when I moved to Colombia, I did not know any word in Spanish. I did not even know how to say hola. I used to pronounce it hola. So, so I think a lot of people can relate to that who have traveled to a place where they don't know anyone, they don't speak any language. And the same happened with me, but I learned how to be flexible. But that flexibility can also sometimes feel like fragmentation, um, and the fragmentation of the self, the fragmentation of my identity, and the pursuit of belonging.
And with that fragmentation, Melki, is that something to resolve, something to lean into, or is it something that it's a productive tension within you? How would you describe that fragmentation?
Wow, that's a very deep question. Thank you for asking that. Um, so I think I believe that fragmentation is constantly evolving, and yes, there is a tension. I would say that, but that tension, as you said, is a productive tension. It's constantly evolving and it's constantly developing. Um, because I used to think that I need to belong to certain identity, certain place, certain culture. But over the period of time, I think I don't care anymore. It's like it's those belonging, the idea of belonging that society has put on us. It's like a label. So I always ask them, it's like the layer of labels, or there's like it's like an onion, right? If you peel off onion, the layers of identity, the layers of belonging, when you peel it off, what remains? So how it evolved for me is um, I always ask this question to myself, and I always ask, and this question come up to me when a short story that I would like to share is I was riding my bicycle in Colombia. I was traveling around Colombia by my bicycle. And well, the idea was to go to the uh, the end point of Argentina to Ushuaia, but unfortunately, pandemic happened. But anyway, I was on a bicycle tour. I was bike packing around Colombia, and it started to rain, and there was nowhere to go. I was all alone on the road, drenched in water. And on the side of the road, I saw there was a guy. He was pitching his tent, and he was homeless. I guess he was homeless. And he called me over, and he asked me to wait there for the rain to stop. And he invited me to his home, which was actually not his home. He was just pitching a tent. But for a moment, that was home for both of us. And that place was had this idea of belonging for both of us. We belong to that portion of the land momentarily. And then I asked a question to myself that um, what does it mean to belong not to a place, um, a people, or an ideology, but to oneself?
Mhm.
So yeah, and also it reminded me of a story that I read. There was a Sufi guy, and there was a traveler, and the traveler visited Sufi's house and asked Sufi that you do not have anything here. You just have a bed and a table. So Sufi told the traveler that I don't belong to that place. But he told him that, but this is your house. The traveler asked, but this is your house. So Sufi asked the traveler that, where is your belonging? So the traveler said, I'm just a traveler.
Mm.
So the Sufi said, so am I. So it's a very profound metaphorical story that I resonated to when it all actually happened with me when I was traveling by my bicycle around Colombia.
That reminds me, if I can just jump in a second, I was looking at belonging quotations, and I try and build a quotation library ongoing. And the one that I found from Amin Malouf said something similar to this, Melki, and that is, I come from no country and no tribe. I am the son of the road. all tongues and all prayers belong to me, but I belong to none of them.
Mm.
And that is sort of, I think, related to what you're saying, is that sense of we're the son, or we're the prodigy of this life experience. But it doesn't mean that parts of us are left floundering around the world.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
feel, just to add to that, I feel like we are, people who move around, we are the thread in the fabric, but at the
Yes,
fabric as well.
yes, yes, yeah. Like the drops of the ocean, we're the water, but we might change form because sometime we might be steam, another day we might be ice. But we're always water, right?
Hmm. So just to answer what Megan asked me, for
Uh-huh.
me, it's a it's a dynamic tension. The fragmentation that I call it's a dynamic tension, and I would say it's a beautiful dance between being of the world and at the same time being in it.
Mm. Very true. And that's a skill we all have to learn. In relation to this, um, as you've found yourself on the road and you've experienced this sort of tension like the flow of the river, um, do you have rituals or do you have a routine that helps you always become centered?
Hmm. So a routine that keeps me centered, I would say, is meditation.
Uh-huh.
I love practicing meditation. I've been practicing it for a while. And another routine, another practice that keep me really grounded and um, that keep me really identified with who I am is running.
Oh.
But I think, yeah, I love I love running. So these are the activities or the routines that um, help me stay grounded.
And that's really interesting because one is impulsion and outgoing and movement, while the other
Hmm.
one is peaceful and calm and more receptive, correct? So do you
Hmm.
find that's representative of the tension you were talking about in the sense of belonging?
Hmm. Wow, that's a very good question. Yes, I think that's a representation of sense of belonging because, like you said, I meditate to calm down my racing mind. Because our thoughts we are always racing in our heads like a roller coaster. And um, I do running to just get back to the state of running. And when I'm running or when I'm meditating, I do feel that the sense of belonging to my true self, where I'm not wearing any mask.
Yeah, Melki, I also want to comment on those two practices as they're individual practices. I'm wondering if you have any communal or relational activities or traditions that keeps you grounded in a sense of place, of locality, but maybe in a global connected way.
Hmm. So I think connections, I really cherish connections, connecting with people, but connecting to those people where I don't have to put the mask of fitting in. Um, because we often put the mask to fit in, to adapt. Um, but yeah, for that, I try to find community to be connected with people where I feel safe. I'm all about creating creating safe spaces. So we do have some community. First of all, my family. Yeah, whatever I do with my family. My family comes first. But globally, we do have some network. For example, there was a conference that we were in ITCKC in 2023 in Thailand. And there we made a bunch of good friends. Bunch of friends, a bunch of people who had the same sense of belonging and identity, where you felt safe, where I felt safe. And then these people, we have a group of community where we just connect through Zoom, and once in a month or twice in a month, where we connect and have these meetings and we just talk about life. So that is also one of the places where I feel a sense of belonging, because I don't have to explain about the tension I am going through, because I think these people are also going through the same tension that I go through about the cross-cultural dilemma and the sense of belonging. So yeah, that's what I would like to add to that, the connection.
And does that give you a sense of balance? I'm asking because I'm always seeking to balance the online with the offline, the in-person with the online or the tech, the heart-to-heart physical experience of being a human with this incredible magic that we call technology and communications nowadays. And so, do you find that that helps create a sense of balance? I, I'm just really curious because that's one of the things that for the identity that I have been building over the decades as a traveler, is that it has required balance in the belonging.
Mm. Sometimes it's difficult, but I believe it does, it helps. It helps to create that kind of community. It creates, it helps to form the balance in a way that you're not alone.
Yes, yes.
So having connection with these people over internet, people who are just feeling like you, it helps to create that balance.
Right.
And I would add it's the intentionality of it as well, when everybody comes with a sense of intentionality about we're going to respect the safe space and hold each other's stories with tenderness and curiosity.
Yeah.
Melki, I'm wondering, as you're a coach and you are a thought leader, you come alongside people who are sometimes in precarious situations or are looking for direction. What advice do you sometimes give to people who are seekers of belonging or are trying to figure out where they belong?
So, well, I don't like giving advice, and being a coach, I'm all about self-discovery. So I'm like a co-pilot in their journey. So not a pilot, because they are their own pilot in their life. So even when they ask advice from me, I don't give advice. I help them self-discover by my questions. So no question is good or bad. It depends how you question it. So most of the time, the questions I ask myself and the same kind of question I ask them to help them, because those questions have helped me to identify who I am. So, for example, when it comes to questions of belonging, I ask myself that why I'm seeking this sense of belonging. So that question, and the question would be, if I would remain authentic, if I find a sense of belonging, or I'm just trying to fit in. And if I'm trying to fit in, what mask I'm wearing. Yeah, I think those kind of questions really help me to identify, or have really helped me to identify who I am. And I think it would help people to discover who they are. And well, when they are facing this issue of belonging.
Well, I think you've given us a lot to think about.
Yes, absolutely.
Are you
Yes.
ready to move into a little more lighter, faster lightning round?
Right.
Yeah.
I also
Shall
just want to add before we get into the lightning round, I would like to add to the questions that I ask myself, that can I belong to some place without losing myself? So while you are in the process of belonging or identifying yourself with any other culture, make sure you don't lose yourself. That's what advice I would like to give. And also, how do I create spaces that welcome individuality in others? So these are the questions I would like to ask myself and to ask others. So all set for lightning round.
Mm. And so, the two questions that you came up with, just so the listeners can really appreciate them and take them, is can I belong to some place without losing myself, correct?
Mm.
And the second one is, how do I create spaces that welcome other individuals, correct?
Mm.
Very good. Thank you so much for this. Very thoughtful, very deep places that we can all take ourselves. Do you want to go ahead with the lightning round, or shall I, Megan?
Well, Doreen, I only have one question
Go
for the
ahead.
lightning round.
Sure.
So, Melki, if you were to give some synonyms for belonging, what would they be?
Mm. Feeling. For me, belonging is a feeling.
Great. I think during the project we will be collecting these words and saving them. Thank you very much. Can I ask you a question, Melki? You could instantly become fluent in one language. What would it be and why?
Spanish.
Yay!
And why? Because I picked that language. I never learned Spanish professionally. I picked up that language on the street just by talking to people. And I started speaking Spanish just in 3 days.
That's fabulous. Fabulous. And finally, can you describe home in just 3 words? What are the words that come to mind when you think about home?
Home is where your heart is.
Lovely. Thank you.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful, Melki. Yeah, it reminds me of a Pico Iyer quote about home and belonging being more than a piece of soil, but a piece of your soul.
Yeah.
Thank you, Melki, for sharing your insights and unpacking belonging with us. Where can people find you online?
People can find me on LinkedIn, or I have a podcast on Spotify that's called Meaningful Conversations with Talk Cause, or on my website, which is talkcause.com. So talk means talk, and cause is a cozy space, providing a safe space to people.
Lovely. We'll make sure that we include those in the show notes.
Thank you, Doreen, and thank you, Megan.
Thank you so much. It's been delightful to have you here and in part of the Belonging Project series.
Thank you, Melki.
And I would like to say sayonara, masalama, and hasta luego.
Hasta luego.